Nation, your buddy Murph back once again for another Raiders fan radio conversation. The host of the Fan Club Blitz here on Murph's Fan Cave Podcast Network. He is also the host of Inebra Nation. He is a rockabilly frontman, and he is the president of the New Jersey chapter of the Black Hole. Welcome to the show, Chuck Splatterhead McCann. What's up, Chuck?
What's going on, Murph? Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. It's been a while. I think the last time we interviewed you, I had a different co-host.
I believe so. That's right. It was you and Sonny.
That's right. Yeah, it was me and Sonny, and Sonny's the one that actually got in touch with you and got linked up with you guys and the Black Hole, and so that's how we got to know you originally. And then since then, you all have taken under your wing my new co-host, my Uncle Mosh. He's now an honorary member of your chapter of the Black Hole up there in New Jersey.
That's right. Representing Jersey down in Tennessee. It's great.
And I don't think he's ever been to New Jersey other than maybe the Newark airport.
Yeah, we'll have to change that.
Absolutely. We need to get together this season for sure, man. We would love to make a run up there to the cottage, man, and come watch a game with you and your crew. But hey, we're going to talk plenty about the Raiders here in a little bit. But first, Chuck, I mentioned just a little bit at the top there. You've had this incredibly cool rock and roll career, man, that's gone on for a long time. And last time we spoke to you, I don't even think we were aware that you had this entire past of playing in rock bands and all that stuff. And tell us a little bit about that.
All right. Yeah, I don't think we talked about it just because, we were focusing on Raiders stuff. But I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a career. I guess maybe, I spent a lot of money doing it. But I started a little band in Seattle back in I think 1994, somewhere around there, called Los Gatos Locos. And we were playing music that was really popular in Europe. And I think there were only 3 bands doing the psychobilly thing in the US at the time. And we wanted to confuse people. So we figured we got a Japanese guy playing bass, 3 white guys living in, the great Pacific Northwest. Let's give it a Mexican name and really throw people for a loop. And a lot of people thought we were Mexican for a long time, especially when psychobilly got popular later on. It got really popular in the Chicano community in Southern California. And a lot of those guys just thought we were a Mexican band. And surprise, we're a Japanese guy and 3 white guys who can, order food in Spanish, basically. And I did that for many years. We never officially called it quits. We haven't played in a long time, but we are still in contact and still talk about things. And after that, I moved to Jersey and I joined another band out here, the Tombstone Brawlers, and we put out a couple albums. So it's 2 CDs out, and we've toured extensively and played all over the place. And it was a lot of fun, man. And it's not really anything that I actively do anymore. But, I said I would never play with the Tombstone Brawlers again. That was a statement I've made many times, that that's something you'll never see. And last year I played with the Tombstone Brawlers again because one of the band members passed away suddenly of a heart attack. And they wanted to do a reunion show, and I said, I'll do it for that. And then upcoming in September, after that one, I said, well, you'll never see that again. And here we go. If you've heard our show, the Fan Club Blitz, we've had Luigi from the original bass player from Suicidal Tendencies on. We've become pretty good friends, chatting back and forth and, phone calls. He wanted to come out here and play. And I was able to link him up with a show, and the promoter was like, can you get the Tombstone Brawlers back together? And I said, not a chance in hell. But I did it, and we're playing here in Jersey September 28th at the Stanhope House in Stanhope, New Jersey.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So how is it getting back together with the old band? Do you guys do rehearsal sessions and stuff before, or do you just hit it? You just hit the stage and go for it? It's just you never stop.
No. We'll do rehearsals, especially with the Tombstone Brawlers, because this is the original lineup that we did the first CD with. And then the second CD was a completely different drummer and a completely different bass player. Now it's the original guys, so we have to get together. With Los Gatos Locos, whenever we play, on that rare occasion, the band is all in Seattle. They get together, they rehearse, and then I meet them wherever the first show is going to be, and I just jump on stage and go, and hopefully remember the words. But those songs are so, like, you know, we were very significant. We were a very significant part of a very insignificant subgenre of music. So everybody that's at the shows, they know the lyrics better than I do. So I can cheat and just hand the microphone out if I need to.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. So you're opening up or playing with, I should say, with Louis Seidel, with Luigi Mayorga, who we know is a big Raider fan after hearing him on your show, which is really cool. Who would be the toughest band do you think would be to open for?
You know, I really don't know. I mean, I have a weird attitude on music. It's changed over the years that I'm older now, but I always said that I always wanted to be the supporting band because I wanted to be the toughest band for anybody to come on after. And you know, that was always our mission, was just whoever we're playing with, just blow them off the stage. And, you know, sometimes you accomplish that and sometimes you don't, you know. I heard one guy say, and I don't remember what band he was in, but he said, you know, when you miss the mark on stage, or you're just a little off, nobody in the audience is really going to notice, right? But when you're perfect, everybody's going to remember that.
Oh.
And that's kind of that zone that you always want to try to get into. And it takes a lot to just get there. But I don't know. I don't. Whoever I'm opening for, I'm not intimidated by that. You know,
Anybody you wouldn't want to follow? Like, I've always heard a lot of rock musicians say, like, you don't want to follow AC/DC. Like, that's the last band you want to go after. Like, is there anybody that you would be like, we can't go on after that guy?
Oh, man. You know, I mean, in our genre, like, you know, and like I said, in the whole, like, punk, it's all kind of crossed over now. So, like, we're playing with a bunch of punk bands and not rockabilly bands, which is what I like. I'd prefer to do that than play with, you know, just 6 bands that all sound basically the same.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, there's bands out there. I mean, I'm into a lot of the older stuff. So, you know, probably like a band like Fear, which is an old 80s LA punk band. I think that would be really tough to come on after. You know, Black Flag, or actually currently the band Flag, which is, you know, the original sort of lineup minus the guitar player who's doing his own Black Flag thing. But the band Flag, I would never even attempt to follow that. But for the most part, yeah, like I said, I'm not intimidated by, you know, anybody. We just go up and play. We're all friends. It's not a competition.
Yeah, there you go. Reminds me of something like we talk about now in the podcast game all the time. We're all here to, like, lift each other up. You know what I mean? It's obviously a different community. We're not performing live. We're, you know, performing our shows and sending it out there for the world to consume. But yeah, like, why not lift each other up? Why not celebrate, you know, each other's creativity and accomplishments and you know what I mean? And so absolutely. So it's speaking of that, I want to ask you about, so you've gone from, so this longtime rock career is on and off. Now you're in the podcast game. You know, we got in touch when we knew we were going to branch out and start a podcast network. We knew we wanted to turn our thing into bigger than just Raiders Fan Radio. And you were one of the first ones that we talked to about it. And it's been such an awesome addition to the network. You guys are like the anchor right there next to Raiders Fan Radio, man. You developed your own community of people. Of course, we share a lot of listeners too, but I hear from so many people with comments that are just directed specifically at the Fan Club Blitz. So what's it like for you now? Because and you've transitioned even to another show, which I'll ask you about later. But what's it like for you now, taking your creative energy and sinking it into podcasting?
It's pretty cool. You know, I mean, I'm comfortable, you know, with the microphone and you know, sort of speaking my mind. But it's different, you know, because I don't have that live audience to work off of, and you know, it's different. I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. It's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I mean, I still have ideas kicking around. I had done a few interviews with not necessarily musicians, but people that were part of, like, these underground scenes, because from growing up in like the Bay Area punk rock scene, it wasn't, the bands at the shows were just sort of the soundtrack to what was really happening. And each city and region had this like one legendary, like crazy person that like everybody knows, you know? And so I was getting interviews with guys like that for a podcast that I wanted to put out. And I have collected, you know, probably 4 or 5 interviews that I just haven't done anything with it yet. And I had done those before we started the Fan Club Blitz. And when when I heard that you were doing the network, it just kind of, clicked. And I said, wouldn't it be cool to have a show that just sort of talked to, booster clubs and fan clubs, and because there's so many of them out there, and it's always going to be 90% Raiders, because that's the language that we speak. But we like to have other clubs on as well, which we've had a couple of them, and it's been cool. And the theme of the show's deviated a little bit because, if I don't have a booster club or a fan club that wants to come on or can come on, then we're not going to stop the show. So one of the things that I thought, was pretty unique about what we do is that we actually record, in the season during the games, and nobody else does that. So that's kind of a unique twist on Raiders podcasting too. And, but yeah, it's been fun, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's really great to hear you guys do that. And I want to definitely give respect to your co-host, to Tom, and Fitz, and sometimes Potts and Bill Mackey, and the different characters that we hear kind of come in and out of the show. And I think it's fun because, as someone who doesn't go out and drink in bars anymore, which, if I come to New Jersey, I'm drinking with you guys. I'm just gonna put that out there for the world to know. But listening to you guys on the show, you could just hear the fun in it all, and it's a blast, man. It definitely comes across, and I think that's what people have gravitated towards, is this. It's just genuine. You know what I mean? It's genuine. And so if you can't get out and go hang out with people and watch a Raider game, you can listen to your show, and it's, you get a pretty simulated experience. So it's definitely, it's very cool. So how is that? What is game day like for you all? So as I mentioned, you're the president of the New Jersey chapter of the Black Hole. You have your gathering point, which is the Irish Cottage Inn there in New Jersey. Tell us a little bit about what your guys' game day is like.
Well, it varies. It depends on where we are in the season and what the team looks like. We have our diehard regulars that are always going to be at the club, whether it's a Thursday night game or, a late game on Sunday. But game day is, usually it'll be me and Chris Potts that show up there a little bit early at the cottage, and we hang up flags at the front door. So any person that walks in the door, the first thing they see is a big flag that says you're in Raider country. The bar has offered to give us the private room in the back, which is a big space, and we really enjoy being in everybody else's space. We love being where the people are sitting at the bar watching the Eagles game, but all they can hear are Raiders fans screaming and yelling. And there's a little bit of friendly banter that goes back and forth. And I think you miss out on that if you exclude yourself. And I understand why some clubs like to do that, but to each their own. So for us, it's an open environment. It's people bring their kids. It's family friendly. We have a swear jar that, in case anybody slips up, they throw money into the cuss jar. Usually we walk in and we throw $5 or $10 into it right at the beginning. And that's it. I mean, we do 50-50s. We raise money that we primarily use for whatever, tailgates or anything like that. And then we kick back to charity. Last year, our big charity was, one of our members is the principal at a charter school in Newark, New Jersey. And Newark is, an inner city. It's up and coming. It's always been kind of a rough city. But, it's going through the gentrification stages and everything else like every other major city in the country. But it's still a primarily black community. She runs a charter school there, and we were raising money to build a stage and some outdoor equipment for the kids to use. So we took all of our 50-50 stuff and our tricky tray money that we gave that to her. And then, anything else that we raise typically just goes into, we'll do a tailgate every year. Last year we did the tailgate in Baltimore. This year, obviously, we have the Jets game. The year before that, we co-hosted the tailgate in Philadelphia. So we're, we need money to do that because our tailgates are free.
Well, that's awesome. And I want to ask you about that Jets game, but before we get to that, I want to hit something there something that I've learned, and maybe you did as well, and I know a lot of our listeners have learned since having you guys be part of the network and listening to your podcast every week. Raider Nation, in terms of fan clubs and booster clubs, do it completely unlike any other group of fans in the, I don't know about the world, but I'm going to say definitely NFL fans in this country, in the terms of that it's 365, you're giving back to your communities, you're doing much more than just hanging out together and eating chicken wings and drinking beer. And I think that's something that's it's unique to Raider Nation, and it was a really pleasant surprise. Frankly, I didn't expect it. I knew how hardcore Raider fan is, obviously, but I didn't realize to what extent, and also the charitable portion and the give back and the community focus. That I wasn't aware of. Was that new to you, or is that something you kind of came to as you all started evolving as a club?
What wasn't new to me is that Raiders, especially the booster clubs, it wasn't new to me that they were all involved in charitable work, because that's part of the stipulations of becoming an official booster club. But and we're not an official booster club. The Black Hole is a fan club. It's completely different. We're recognized by the Oakland Raiders, but we're not, sanctioned through them as a booster club. And we operate under a different umbrella. It's also one of our stipulations that you be involved in the community in which you operate in. What was new to me after interviewing fan clubs from other teams was that that's completely foreign to them, that they're, that's just not a thing, that they're really not active in the off season. We talked to the Dolphins club, and they've got thousands of members that go to that meet up in New York, not far from where the Raiders club meets up, the Silver and Black Empire. So the Dolphins club, incidentally, that bar where the Dolphins fans meet in New York is owned by the brother of one of the owners of the Irish Cottage Inn. So that's a weird connection.
Oh, okay.
But we talked to them. We talked to the for instance, what I was getting to is that club. During the off season, they spend the entire off season planning for their tailgate at MetLife. And, other clubs, they don't even really see each other in the off season. It's just a thing where they get together and hang out and watch football, which is cool. I don't have a problem with it. I think, that's great if that's what you want to do. But yeah, Raider Nation, we have that stigma. We have that, that bad boy, sort of outlaw image. And one of the ways that we embrace that, the dark side as well, but one of the ways that we combat that is by doing work in the community and showing people by action that we're just football fans. We're good guys, and we're here to help. And that's important to it's important to the Black Hole, and it's important to the Raiders organization, which is why they do it with their booster clubs.
That's an awesome sentiment. And I totally agree. One of the things that really, of course, Sonny and I talked about this early on, but even more so since Uncle Mosh has come on and taken over such a big part of our show, is that, you can be a Raider fan and you can be a tough guy and you can be big and tatted up and hardcore and all that, but you don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to not have fun. You don't have to not be, respectful of your fellow man and charitable. And you can be all of those things and be a big badass at the same time. Like, those things all can coexist. And I think that is an important message.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And just growing up where you and I grew up, there's a lot of big tough guys in San Jose and San Francisco and Oakland. And they also, a lot of those guys do a lot of work in their communities too. It's, you can be, there's a duality, not everything is black and white. And so we have fans that are, big tattooed biker looking guys or whatever. But they're going to go out and help pick up garbage in the town and, do something to help feed kids. And then they're going to get crazy on Sunday and watch football and put on war paint, but again, every fan base in every sport has its share of knuckleheads.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But they don't represent the majority of fans of any team. You get guys that show up at the tailgates at 8:00 in the morning and start filling themselves full of alcohol. And, they're not professionals like me and Fitz who do that, every weekend. So they can't handle it by the time the gates open at 1:00. And then there's always the banter that goes back and forth, and it can be a bad mix. We control that just by, everybody that comes to our events knows that it's just not going to be tolerated. If you act like a knucklehead, you're not going to be welcomed back.
Right.
We don't have that issue. Everybody comes, has a good time. Some people get a little drunk, and that's okay. As long as they're not bothering anybody and they're having fun, we don't mind.
There you go. So talk a little bit about that tailgate. So you got, and I don't know if you've got any left. It's been a minute since you and I spoke about it. But you all have been selling tickets to the game against the Jets coming up this year, and you've got a block of tickets there at MetLife. It's going to be your crew. It's going to be Kenny and Kane and I don't know if Jay's coming out there or not, but the guys from the Pillaging Podcast, anyways. It's going to be some of the OG Black Hole folks are coming out. Like, you got a great group of Raider fans all sitting together. Plus, you guys are hosting the tailgate, as you mentioned. So tell Raider Nation a little bit about that and about how they can get a ticket to the event.
All right. Well, so we worked out a deal with the New York Jets organization, mainly through our friend Rose that I mentioned, who has the charter school in Newark. She's done some charitable events through the Jets and put me in contact with her rep there, and he was able to block us off a section of seats for 76 people. We've managed to sell about 53 of them now, and we've got about 10 other people that I have tickets on hold for up to a certain point. You got to pay me or I'm selling the tickets to somebody else. Yeah. We don't have the physical tickets in hand because of the way our contract is with the Jets. We make payments to them bi-weekly. Once we're paid in full, all those tickets will come directly to me because he doesn't want to be, you sold them, you get the tickets. And then I'll distribute them to whoever, paid us. We've sold, I think, 53, 54. I have to check my email again because they come in sporadically. So we still have some tickets left, and they're $65 each, no fees. They are upper tier nosebleed seats at MetLife Stadium, which that's a recent era Super Bowl stadium. There's not a bad seat in there. I mean, the Jumbotrons are ridiculous. And you're going to be sitting with 76 Raider fans. Well, one Jet fan, because we let Carlos come in with us. He's married to Rose, so it's he's going to have fun. We're sticking him right in the middle.
I was just going to say, I hope you put him right in the middle of everybody. That's perfect.
Smack dab in the center. But so those tickets. I was telling people to just PayPal us at fanclubblitz@yahoo.com, but I suggest you email me first at fanclubblitz@yahoo.com. That way I can confirm that we still have seats available. And there's no fees on top of it, so it's $65. And I just tell people, make sure you use the send money to a friend thing, because otherwise we get whacked with a fee, and then we're in the red.
Oh yeah, and then you're going in the hole for the tickets. Yeah,
right. Absolutely. Then we're going in the hole for the tickets. So we have that going on. We also have this North Jersey silver and black stickers that we're selling. That's helping to pay for the tailgate. Those are 2 for $8 at the same PayPal address. And tailgate is there's a lot of events going on. Raider Nation there's booster clubs. There's just in this area alone. You've got Silver and Black Empire in New York City. You have the New York City Black Hole, which is in Staten Island in New York City. You have the Jersey Shore Booster Club, which is only 2 hours to the south of me. They're also very close to the city.
Is that Villapiano's club?
Yeah, that's the club that Foo started.
Okay.
And he still gets together with them occasionally. He's not, active there every week or anything. But that's a big club. You have the Philadelphia chapter of Black Hole, New England Booster Club. You've got clubs in Rochester, Syracuse. So everybody's York, PA, of course, and then Lehigh Valley, PA, which is only 45 minutes from me. This place is just Raider thick.
It's crazy.
And everybody's converging on this. And so Silver and Black Empire are doing a tailgate on their own. Not on their own. They're inviting all Raiders fans as well. And then the Black Hole chapters are doing our own Black Hole tailgate. So, we're separate, but we're all cross promoting and helping each other out. And, Raider fans should have options. So I don't have all the details on their stuff, but for our tailgate, it looks right now like we're going to be in Lot L, but I'll keep everybody updated on social media. And we're going to be serving Jersey breakfast sandwiches, soda, water, beer, lots of beer. And then the Staten Island crew are coming in from Staten Island, New York, with some homemade baked ziti and stuff like that.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We're keeping it regional,
That's the best. Oh, man, yeah. I wish I could be there so bad. That sounds like just an absolutely perfect freaking tailgate and time at the game, man. That's going to be amazing.
That's going to be great. We have DJ Mike, the president of the Philadelphia Black Hole chapter, is going to be DJing at the tailgate. He's donating his time for that because he loves to do Raider events. And, so that tailgate's being hosted, by the New Jersey chapter of the Black Hole, the New York City chapter, the Philadelphia chapter, and the New England chapter. We're all working together to put that together. So it'll be in Lot L. We take donations, but we don't charge anything. And we ask people, don't bring beer. Please don't bring beer because we're going to have so much beer. Just drink what we have. We don't. We end up having to stick it all back in the cars and bring it home. And, I was walking around Baltimore last year just handing out 12 packs. Like, please take this beer.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, man. Well, that's going to be great. You guys are going to have a great time. So, yeah, Raider Nation, if you're headed up there, definitely hit Chuck up first. Make sure that there's a ticket available, and then and go join him there at the tailgate. So I guess we should talk about the team. Let me go ahead and ask you a little bit, Chuck, about your kind of your expectations for the Raiders here in 2019. We're 2 preseason games in, and everyone's freaking out, myself included. Like, oh my gosh, this team actually looks pretty legit.
Well, we look definitely legit against possibly the worst football team in the NFL. But
perspective, huh?
Perspective. I you know what? My expectations are that we're going to be better than last year, and if we outdo those expectations, I'll be really happy. But I do expect that we're going to field a team that doesn't resemble what we saw last season. I'm excited. I like the way that these rookies look. I love the veterans that we brought in. Everybody was a little hesitant about Burfict when we brought him on, but he seems like he's just turned into a defensive leader, which is what we need. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's me too, and I'm trying to keep it in perspective. I really am genuinely trying to remember, okay, this is just a preseason, and yeah, it was just the Cardinals and all, but it just seems like we're operating with a different level of crispness to the team that we just hadn't had in a while. And then, of course, you add Hard Knocks on top of it, and it's hard not to get fired up and watching that. So have you been watching the first 2 episodes?
Oh yeah, multiple times. Tom and I watched the first one together live. And then, I watched it again 3 more times. And then episode 2, I've watched twice now. I love it. It feels like football season's already started for me.
Yes.
Like it's, and it, it goes right up until the brink of the season. So it's like, okay, I'm in Raider mode now. I'm in my Raider gear every day now. I got my Stabler shirt on now. And, I'm strutting. Awesome. I got some swagger.
Nice.
But again, who knows? Like I expect they're going to be better. That's all I'm going to say. I can't predict what's going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to act like the 49ers fans and get all excited. And I'll steal this from Fitz, but Oh, 49ers fans got super excited because they stopped a bunch of guys that are going to be working at Home Depot in 2 weeks from getting the first down. Good for you.
That's the truth. That's the thing. Like, I heard somebody the other day on social media, of course, and you can hear anything on Facebook after a football game, but they're like, oh, I don't know. Looks like we got, we kind of let off in a little bit in the fourth quarter of that Cardinals game. I'm like, there's not one of those guys are going to be on the team. Like,
right.
Like, well, let's not worry about what happened in the fourth quarter. Let's if we're going to look at anything, look at the first quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. We got to see Carr come in for a couple of plays, and it ended in the touchdown, and that's all you need to see out of him. Get the starters out there for a little bit, and I would be surprised if we see them again. Maybe for a second in Winnipeg, just because it's in Canada and the NFL's trying to, do whatever they're trying to do with having these games in multiple countries. But it's I would be surprised if we saw the starters again. And everybody's freaking out about AB. AB's going to get on the field and he's going to be Antonio Brown, and that's all I expect. When's he going to hit the field? Week 1, he's going to hit the field. He's not going to hit the field in the preseason.
Hey, man, dude, and I've been saying that this whole time. I'm like, everyone got so freaked out, and I admit too, it had my attention as well, and I'm like, okay, like, are we making much ado about nothing here? Like, what's really going on? But it was not coming from Antonio Brown. It was coming mainly from media sources. But at the end of it all, I kept the mindset that the Raiders said from day one, this guy is not going to play in the preseason. So until it's week 1 and he's not on the field, none of this matters.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And when he is on the field, he's a difference maker. Nobody can argue that. I mean, maybe some Steelers fans are going to argue it because they're, that's the way they deflect. Is probably, exactly. Oh, he sucks. Well, yeah, okay, he sucks. Yeah. Well,
he's going to walk off the field and straight into the Hall of Fame. But yeah, he sucks.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm excited to see him out there. I mean, I was excited when I got to remember where I was, a couple seasons ago when we brought beast mode on, and I was like, oh, this offense is going to be unstoppable, and then it wasn't. It was stoppable.
It was very that was, you know what? That was the year that I announced that I've officially released the Raiders from burdening me with expectation that I was never going to go into a season again thinking that, okay, this is our year, we're going to be this or we're going to be that. And I echo a lot of what you said about, like, we're going to be better. Look, if we're not better, then I don't know what else we could have done to get better. Like, we have great coaching, we have great players, we have, there's a lot of positivity on the horizon for this team. I don't know what else they would have been capable of. I mean, some people can throw Mac back in our face or whatever else, but aside from one or two maybe small things that, I don't know if that's a small thing even, but maybe just one or two things you could point at, I don't know how you not get better. I don't know how you not improve over 4 wins. So they have to be better. So I'm with you. Like, the expectation is this. They're going to be better than they were last year. I don't know how much, but they have to be better. It's almost impossible if they're not better. If they're not better than they were last season, then either Carr sucks or Gruden sucks. Yes.
I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. And I don't believe either of those things to be true.
Exactly.
So I can't see how they possibly come out and have the same results they got last year. I don't see it. And again, okay, we got rid of Mac. And you know what my response was 30 seconds after that happened. Now, if we didn't get rid of Mac, we wouldn't be in the position that we are right now.
Nope.
We wouldn't have gotten these, killer, rookies in our great draft position. We wouldn't be looking at we wouldn't be talking about Antonio Brown right now. We wouldn't have been in the position to get Antonio Brown for
Trent Brown and LaMarcus Joyner and Tyrell Williams, and you look at all the players that we've brought on. None of that is possible. None of that's possible when you commit $90 million in guaranteed money to one guy.
Exactly, and I still see Raiders fans crying about Cooper. I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all. I'd rather have Crabtree back.
Yes.
If I'm being completely honest, I'd rather have Crabtree back than Cooper. I don't want either one of them back. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably take Crab.
And isn't it funny how now, and then you look at the Cowboys and you got Dak Prescott wants $40 million a year, something stupid. Ezekiel Elliott's out of camp, and Amari Cooper's wanting to be the highest paid wide receiver in football. And I'm like, glad that's your problem. Y'all have fun with that.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Because that would have been our headache.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm with you, Chuck. I'm excited about this year, man. It's going to be fun, and man, hopefully we'll be better. So, all right. So I want to ask you, appreciate your time today, first and foremost. I know you got a lot of podcasting going on today, and you guys are probably brewing today and doing all kinds of stuff. So
no, I'm off today. Today, I'm the family. They just opened up. There's a huge. It's about an hour from here. There's the largest Japanese supermarket outside of Japan. And we go there every once in a while, but they just opened a Japanese dollar store in the same place. So my wife's very excited to go there when she gets off work today. So we're gonna take the trip to Edgewater, New Jersey, and hang out at the Japanese market and buy a bunch of tchotchkes, bunch of junk we don't need.
I was just going to say, you'll find a bunch of stuff you didn't know you couldn't live without and just go and load up, man.
But I'll get some cool Japanese beer or sake or something to review on both the shows.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I do want to ask you before we let you go about Inebra Nation. That's the other show that you all have started, and that is on the Crow's Nest Podcast Network. That's with Kenny and those guys over with the Pillaging Podcast. So tell us about Inebra Nation.
So Inebra Nation was born out of the fan club Blitz receiving press passes to a beer festival. And
perfect.
We were like, there's a lot more fans of alcohol than there are of the Raiders. And we can probably get people to send us free beer and stuff if we do this. So we said, let's do a podcast that's just us drinking and talking about drinking and having fun. Kenny and Che, they were talking to us, when they heard we were going to be doing that, and we were like, well, let's give it a shot. Let's run it, with the Crow's Nest, because we can be foul mouthed and belligerent, and that's it, man. We talk about booze, we talk about brewing booze. We talk about because Tom and I brew. We're really seriously thinking about, looking into opening up our own brewery at some point in the somewhat near future.
Whoa.
It's just got to jump through all the legal hoops and find the financing and all of that. But it's a plan that we're seriously discussing. And, we visit breweries, we visit distilleries, funny stuff. Tom, he took a week off work and said, I'm going to the shore. He's a big fishing guy and surfing guy. Well, he doesn't surf anymore, but he went on a road trip on his own, and he took his little microphone that plugs into his iPhone and, went to a few breweries down there. He posted on Instagram that he was going to a distillery in Cape May, New Jersey. So he goes in, he's like, I'm there drinking. I'm talking to him. The next thing I know, they just keep bringing me out all these free drinks. He's like, and I'm sitting there getting wrecked, So I happen to be emailing back and forth with a guy who owns the distillery up here by us. And I was like, Tom's down at Naughty Distillery in Cape May. They're getting him wasted. And he writes me back. He goes, actually, that's me. He saw that Tom was going to be down there, so he called them and was like, get that guy wasted.
Oh, no way.
It's like, yeah. So it's like we're in this network of like booze now. That's pretty funny. But yeah, that's the show, man. We try and do that once a week, and it's a little easier for us,
Yeah, you're unfiltered.
Well, not only that, but Raiders content in the off season is a little bit tough.
Yeah.
And then you find that like the booster clubs and everybody, like they're all like everybody's on vacation, taking their kids to Disney World and stuff. So, we haven't been able to do weekly Fan Club Blitz episodes. We could start getting back into that now because we've got Hard Knocks, we've got the preseason, we have stuff going on. But it's given us the time to like, okay, well, we can do an Inebra Nation every week. It's easy. And then I have full control over that. I mean, we're on a network, but I'm actually hosting it, and we're doing everything ourselves. It's just, that's more of a network where we just kind of support each other's shows and promote each other.
I got you.
So it's a little different than what we're doing at Murph's Fan Cave.
Right. Okay. Well, good deal, man. Well, that's cool stuff, Chuck. Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, definitely check them out. And you all, there's a bunch. So you're on your own feed then. So folks want to listen to Inebriation Nation, they just look up Inebriation Nation on Google Play or Apple or whatever their podcast service is. Yep,
Spotify. Whatever you guys are listening to your podcast on, you can find Inebriation Nation.
Okay. Good deal. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if you look up the Crow's Nest, you're only going to find the Crow's Nest show. You're not going to find, it's not going to be like if you go to Murph's Fan Cave, you're going to get all the shows. So you have to, individually subscribe to each of our shows.
I got you. Okay. All right. Well, check them out. Check out Inebriation Nation. It's these guys unfiltered, man, and it's definitely a lot of fun. So if you ever want to know what they sound like in the Fan Club Blitz without all the beeps and a little bit more free flow to their content, definitely check it out. It's a fun time. And I appreciate all the work you put in. And you guys it's funny how it's kind of evolved. It's like I think everybody's kind of conditioned now to the language restraints that we have. But it was funny. Every time that it comes up, and I always get such a big kick out of it. It cracks me up when it'll be like, "Oh, sorry, Murph," or be like, "Murph, you deal with that one," or whatever it is, whatever the reference may be. They always all crack me up, man. It's always so funny. Just the fact that there's an awareness of it just makes me laugh, man. So we appreciate you guys.
If you notice, when the show's just me and Tom, we seem to have no problem controlling ourselves. But then once we bring Potts and Fitz in there, it's just like, forget it. They can't do it. There's just too much Jersey in them that they just can't stop.
It's so funny, the clown horns and the car crashes and all that stuff. Man, there's sometimes, man, because I always listen to your guys, as soon as it goes up, and it just cracks me up, man. So anyways, I want to reiterate that again too. I really appreciate not only what you do for Murph's Fan Cave by generating the just great shows, either every week or every other week or however often you guys are able to do it, but to all your guys and getting together and putting that stuff out. Doing a podcast is a little inside baseball for anybody that's listening. Doing a podcast, it's easy to flip on your iPhone and record your own voice. It's hard to put together a show because to me a show is produced, and look, we don't. I'm not a pro by any means, but we do have a certain standard that we want to have in terms of show quality. And you guys nailed it from the very beginning, from your music to your sound bites to everything you guys have done. You could definitely tell you put work into it. You don't just flip on the microphones, that you actually, whether that's, just the recording piece and then you, Chuck, with your editing or whatever. But I just want to commend you guys and thank you very much for what you do. Cause like I said, it's been a great addition to the network.
Well, thank you. I mean, that comes from years of playing music too. I don't want to put out substandard stuff, so we work at it, and we try to put out a good product. I think we're funny. If nothing else, I think we're funny, because it's rare that you can play back yourself and laugh, and I can do that. So it's pretty neat. Well, we enjoy it.
There's always an audible chuckle from me every show. Like there's always something that gets me, because I'll kind of be doing stuff around the house or whatever, listening to you guys, and then somebody will say something that makes me kind of stop and just like cracks me up. I'm like, what did they just say? I'm like, that was funny. You know what I mean?
You should hear it when I'm in the room and I'm like, what did you just say? It's pretty fun.
Oh, good stuff, man. Well, Chuck, we appreciate you. Thank you very much for everything again that you do. And Raider Nation, check them out. Send them an email. Check into those tickets. Check out Inebriation Nation. Check out the Fan Club Blitz. And Chuck, as always, we got to end our interviews with a message to Raider Nation. So you got anything before we let you go?
Yeah, always, man. Quit. Turn off all these media morons who have nothing to do with the Raiders. Half of them have nothing to do with football. They're not connected to the organization. They have no inside information, and they're all just repeating the same crap and running with they'll take one little snippet of like something that actually happened, and then the rest of it is just all their opinions going around a circular table. Stop buying into all that stuff, and don't get overhyped either. Wait for the team to actually hit the field week one. We've got two brutal games, week 1 and 2, without, Incognito, which, that kills me. We could really use him in those 2 games. Don't get overhyped and never sleep on the divisional games, especially when, we're still the Raiders right now. We have to come into without having the expectations that we're the Raiders of 1980. We're until this season starts, we're the Raiders of last season. Now, I think we're going to be better. Nothing's been on the field yet. You can't judge by preseason. You can't judge by all the cool stuff that gets said and done on Hard Knocks. Enjoy it, roll with it, and then when the season starts, let's hope for the best. Let's rally behind the team, and we'll all make the phone calls to Raiders Fan Radio and give our opinions and complaints and grievances. But at the end of the day, we're not coaching the team and we're not on the field. So if we were, the team would be way worse. That I know.
Well said, my friend. Well said. That's great. All right. Well, Chuck, we appreciate you joining us for this RFR conversation, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, Murph.